Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now these are your readings for the full moon for August the 3rd. So that's the full moon in Aquarius at 11 degrees Aquarius, 11 degrees 45 minutes. Now it's a bulk introduction as ever. There will be a timestamp down below so that once you've watched my waffle the once, you don't have to watch it all over again. Just click on the timestamp in the description. Now, also in the description, there is a link to my Facebook page for this channel, which is relevant for this video. But that's also where you can contact me for a personal reading if you want. Now, these are general readings. I call them Gods at Play readings because the full moon is about opposition, sun, opposition, moon. It's about the push and pull of the forces. Now, I use God cards like Gods of Titans, Mythic Oracle, Dark Goddess Oracle cards, to look at the forces that are working to suppress you and the forces that are looking to uplift you. The forces that are suppressing you, I'm taking a Gnostic view of the ancient gods, that they are masks being worn by the archons who want to feed off of our pain and misery and fear and general non-connectedness to the divine. The bottom row is the true gods from the pagan point of view, the gods that are there to help lift us up to our higher selves, to connection with the divine, or that are simply there to ensure the functional running of the universe, one or the other. You know, there's certain gods within the pagan religions, they don't care whether you're there or not. Other gods do care. So we can see the interplay between all of those. So this is there's not a past and a present, so there's not really an element of take what resonates either. It's like an energetic forecast, and it'll either be useful for you or it won't. I would imagine if your birth chart is affected by this full moon, or at the moment by Uranus in Taurus, then these readings will probably be more relevant for you. You can ask a question beforehand, like I tend to say in all my normal videos. I make no promises as to whether the answer to your question will even be touched upon, because it's not really that sort of spread. But hey, give it a go. Give me some feedback if you ask a question you get an answer, because that'll be interesting to know. Now, as I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, says me, discussing about the full moon or the astrology of the full moon per se, because there's plenty of astrologers on YouTube who are doing it better than me. I would particularly recommend, as ever, Anastasia Cosmic Astrologer. I recommend Rick Levine, the Astrology Hub, Rick, R-I-K, Leo King. You know, Namaste Today. I've not watched it yet today. It's Sunday and it's out. And as I'm actually discussing this, I have done 7 of the readings so far. I've got as far as Libra. The rest I'm going to actually have to do tomorrow on the day of the full moon. So if you're Scorpio onwards in the zodiac, sorry, you'll have to wait till tomorrow. But one thing that did get my attention about this full moon is that it is square Uranus in Taurus, and a square creates a difficulty that can be overcome through creativity, through the application of creative energies, whatever that means. And I think that has shown in the 7 readings that I've done so far, as this time they seem quite personal. I mean, maybe you could take it on a societal level, but this time they seem very, very personal situations. Something that they all feel a lot closer to home rather than any commentary on what local governments might be doing or local police forces. You know, as my full moons a couple of months ago, was it even last month? It must be a couple of months ago now, seemed to pick up on a lot of the protests that had not yet started when I did the readings. But don't worry, you are still rebelling. You are still resisting, but you seem to be rebelling and resisting things that are a lot closer to home. But that rebelling and resisting does seem to be a theme with the readings this month. And also, no, it's gone out of my head what I was about to say. So where were we? Rebelling and resisting. That square to Uranus, there's repeated themes that are coming up for everybody. There's the Archons pretending to be Poseidon or Uranus have come again and again and again. And opening doorways to transformation of your own life, transformation of where you believe that you're heading. That's coming out as well. Now, if I haven't said it already, you want to watch your sun and your moon, obviously, and your rising sign, because in ancient astrology, the rising sign is the most important, hence the timestamp. Now, I'm just going to have a look at the, excuse me, the symbols of this degree. As I said, 11 degrees Aquarius, so written down in like inside degrees as Aquarius 12, because 11 something is the 12th degree. And the Chandra symbol is, or inside degree symbol, is a heated argument turns into laughter. Now what it talks about is tension and release, contraction and expansion, the breath of the mind resolving its dualities. Now Rick Levine on I think it was on Astrology Hub was saying that the whole job description of Uranus is to instantly resolve irreconcilable opposites, and try saying that after a couple of whiskey. So this really sits with the theme. Now it says, in order to make it possible for radical truths and significant realizations to come through, you must first karmically dramatize, inside the ego mind and outside as well, the unbearable tension between opposing points of view. You enter upon disputes, advocate positions, set up heroes and villains. And then when your whole inner and outer world is packed with dilemmas, problems, arguments and battles, you become ready to seek out synthesis, to enter upon a cycle of restoring wholeness. During your experimental years, spice means everything. But during your maturity, there is no further mileage to be had in turning anything against anything else. Getting it that you made it all up in the first place, and that the rational mind delights in controversy but has its limits. When resolution comes, everything looks different. All of life turns around, and most particularly your relation to yourself changes from the critic into the friend and respectful ally of your own inward intentions. Yes, I didn't read this before I did those first 7 readings, but that makes a lot of sense with what I've seen all the way up to Libra. And now I love the Omega symbol is a man struck by lightning is miraculously unharmed. And it's showing that lightning effect of Uranus to bring in change. One thing that Rick Levine said again is that Uranus in Taurus does not like change. So Uranus this time will bring bigger changes less often, because it's like that change energy builds up, like as he said, within a capacitor, and then all of a sudden pop and it's used. Now as they say here, it's a wonderful thing to be serious and passionate about life, but not good when, through our attachment, we turn what is important to us into a burden. Now, this degree is about knowing and focusing on what is important to us, that came out in the readings as well, while learning to carry it lightly. When we attune to the greater spiritual reality from which our consciousness has arisen, we inevitably come to know the joy of pure being. Now, there is symbols of hope here. I mean, all this is fantastic, but it sounds like a lot of work as well, doesn't it? Now, the Pleiadian symbol, which I'm not entirely sure where that's from, because I've not been able to source the origin of these Pleiadian symbols. I mean, other than the Pleiades, obviously. An escalator carrying people far into the sky, which is just a beautiful image. So whatever the full moon brings to you, I want you to consider that whatever it is a step up. Simple as that. Even if it really doesn't look like a step up, that's the way you have to look at it. For your own sanity, that's the way you have to look at it. But whatever it is, it's a step up. Now, interestingly here, from the information that I got, there's each degree has a seed degree and a fulfillment degree. And if somebody could guide me in the comments as to what that actually means, I'd be very grateful. But the seed degree, this really grabbed me, is Leo 23, so obviously 22 degrees Leo. So the sun right now is, well, right now as in the time of the full moon, will be at 11 degrees Leo. So a simple another 11, so you know, numerology 11, big important number, to this seed degree, Leo 23. And it says, a secret race of beings carrying on a hidden existence among humans. That's the Omega symbol for that degree. Now, for the more tinfoil hat wearing of us, that obviously will make you think, oh my God, it's the astral reptilians and the they live scenario. But there's also looked at it in a young adult fiction way. You know, like the X-Men or the Eternals soon to be released, or you know, elves walking among us, all that sort of thing. But what I'd like to give you the image of is that we are that secret race of beings walking around, carrying on a hidden existence among humans. I mean, obviously, we are humans. We are all humans. We are all humans. And we are all aliens if you take reincarnation into account. So there's this 1 degree of the full moon straight after the 3 eclipses and everything else that's been going on this year. 2020, I mean, for God's sake, October's full moon is on Halloween. I mean, if it was going to happen any year, of course it will be this year. But there is a wonderful sense of activation, both in the degree symbols, even that seed degree of 11 degrees Aquarius being Leo 22 degrees Leo, there's that wonderful sense of activation, especially if you think about that escalator thing as well. And there is, in the readings, a wonderful sense of not just activating it as an idea, but actually doing. Right. And there's me saying I wouldn't waffle about the astrology, but I don't think I have. I've stuck to the symbols. So, timestamp down below for the next one that you watch. Remember, sun, moon and rising. Birth chart link down below as well. If you don't know what your moon and rising are, they're always a good idea to have a look at. Comment. It is always good to receive the feedback. And thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed or liked the videos so far. The likes do help, the subscriptions help even more, and hey, you want to see what I'm going to do, so subscriptions, notifications bell, and come and join us on the Facebook page, link down below. Right, time to get on with your reading. And welcome Capricorn Rising and Capricorn Moon if you've just joined us after the timestamp. Now, to be honest, Capricorn, this reading that I see before me is a tinfoil hat wearer's dream, because grab your tinfoil hat and fasten it tight, because that's what seems to be the theme here. The god forces, or the archontic masks masquerading as gods that are trying to suppress you. We have here Hypnos, sleep, Dionysus with freedom, Kaliach with endurance, Kali with fear, and the Hydra with challenges. Now, the reason I say It reminds me immediately of, if you've ever seen the film They Live, you know, where you have those subliminals everywhere: obey, submit, go to sleep, because what Kayak says, and bear in mind, everything on this top row is designed to suppress you. So it can be lies, it can be untruths, it can be forces that are at play. Kayak says, all is well. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Move along. You have your freedom. There is nothing to be scared of, even though there is a massive presence of fear here due to the challenges that are present at the moment. Now, I don't need to be that much of a reader to imagine what challenges they may be. But bear in mind, these Gods at Play readings are always really dramatic because that's their very nature. So this could be relating more to a personal situation. And I'm not just screaming rebel, you know, or get yourself a good pair of sunglasses to see the aliens with, or anything like that. But there is here this force to say, no, stay quiet. You're fine. Everything's fine. You're free. Enjoy your freedom. Don't be scared of all the scary things that I'm showing you. Don't worry about all these challenges that we're facing. Everything is fine. All is well. Cheery, hey? Now, and you're not the first. Who was it? I think it was Sagittarius, Scorpio. I think it was Scorpio had a perfect example of problem, reaction, solution in their top row. I think it was Scorpio. It might have been Sagittarius. I only did it like 10 minutes ago, but it's gone. Now, on your side, the Jade Emperor with organisation. Now, he is busy this month. He's appeared, certainly in the second half of the zodiac, in this position time after time after time. It was just, I think it was Sagittarius that got him as an archontic mask rather than the true god. But look at what we've got here. Aries with battle and Prometheus with sacrifice. And that's on the level of looking for your freedom. That here I feel like he's saying, he's passing you this bowl, which is no doubt going to contain alcohol of one form or another. It's Dionysus. And, you know, everything's fine. All is well. And I think you may well have a realization of, no, it's not. Because there are these challenges and they don't feel right. There's something here. I mean, I think you are being told not to, and I use this phrase in one of the last couple of readings as well, not to go along to get along. But here it's incredibly obvious. There's something that you are expecting, that you have been wanting, and you've not been receiving it. And the fact that you haven't received it is the thing that everyone is saying, no, don't worry, it's fine. Just because you haven't got this thing that you always wanted, it's fine. You've got your freedom. You've got your enjoyment. There's nothing to be scared of. And there's like, you know, Godzilla just round the corner. Whether that for you is an economic thing, whether it's related to COVID, whether it is just a scary relative that is trying to exert power in a way that you don't like. Or again, same dynamic, but on the work floor. Ooh, that's interesting. But Sheila Nagig talks about, I'm going to read her out because I think the Sheila Nagig card here sets the tone for this whole bottom row. It makes sense of all the other cards. So, you are getting weary of empty promises. Don't worry, all is well. Everything is fine. Time after time you find yourself alone and rejected. A lack of self-worth has followed you around ever since you heard the immortalised words happily ever after. So it says here, stop being a rebel for the sake of it, which is interesting because that's exactly what this reading is telling you to do. It's telling you to fight back, whatever that means for you. And I'm not so worried about saying things like that now after the readings that I did before George Floyd was killed. I was worried that I was telling everybody to fight back against the masks and the lockdowns, where my own opinion is, no, wear a mask, stay at home, you know, protect the NHS if you're British, or just don't go out there if you're living somewhere else in the world at the minute, because the faster that we can stop this virus, the better. But all the readings I was doing that, I think they were full moon, that week were like, fight back, resist, you're being lied to. And I was like, oh, what am I saying to people? You know, I think I toned them down a little. But this is definitely, I'm not toning them down anymore after that. And this is definitely a fight back against something. But it's a fight back that you're going to have to work at. 8 of Pentacles, so it's a card about learning, it's a card about repetitive action, it's a card about an immense amount of effort, but you need to put that effort in to protect the system that you are living in. And when I say the system that you are living in, I'm talking about your system that you created, not that's imposed from somewhere else. And this top row is so much like a billboard promising eternal life and eternal youth and eternal beauty and all the food that you want and the drink that you want and the sex that you want and the money that you want, and have it all. It's wonderful because you are free. But somewhere along the line, no, you're not free. There's something that you are being called to give up. So if you do go to battle this, so there are obviously perks in existing under this illusion of freedom. I mean, I think that 7 of Pentacles here is telling me that that there is that there is a harvest that is promised as long as you are going along with this freedom and you are going along with the idea of sleepwalking through it all, and that you are working in harmony with the force that is telling you just to stay quiet, shut up, don't get involved, let us do our thing, you will be fine, everything's taken care of. And you're like, hang on a minute, no. We've got Lilith here, and if there is anybody who is a symbol of rebellion, it's Lilith. But also the fact that your feelings are showing you that the dream that you are wanting to go forward with is not being, it's not coming into being. You know, it's being threatened. And you may have plenty of options about how your dream may come about, but the ones that are coming from outside are pretty much, they're a load of tosh. They're not worth the paper that they're written on or the screen that they're projected on. But the other thing with this 8 of Pentacles is I always think that the 8 of Pentacles is a slow card. You know, it is something when you're doing that endless work of repetition, that will always feel like, you know, time goes really slowly, you know. But is also, there isn't Pentacles, there's that sense at the beginning of a slow, the Jade Emperor doesn't do anything necessarily fast, he does it right. Sometimes that will include fast, sometimes it won't, because all screws need to be tightened, all doors need to be checked, all sockets need to be turned on or off, depending whether you're whatever you're trying to achieve, you know. But I can't get that whole, you are getting weary of empty promises, because for you it is not feeling authentic. And more to the point, if you are going along with whatever this is on the top row, you are not feeling authentic. You are not feeling like, yeah, this is me being me. It more feels like it's you being you under the influence. And when I say under the influence, I don't just mean drunk. I mean under the influence of somebody else, of somebody else's way of being. Because from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, we've got Hariel with purification. So it's almost like, it's almost, I really want to say, it's like you going, you tell me that's freedom, stick your freedom. I'm going to do what I want. And that's the freedom. So, whoa, that was heavy. Looks like the full moon's going to bring some interesting energies for you, Capricorn. But trust your feelings. Where you are seeing promises that are not broken, then you make sure those promises come true, because the only person that can promise you is you. Don't believe the promises that are coming from outside. Yes, strive for that equality. Yes, rebel. But more importantly, use your feelings to be your authentic self. And yes, that may well involve going to war. But it's a slow war, and it's a war where you get the opportunity to learn a lot, but you are sacrificing something here, but to a good end. This is Prometheus here with sacrifice. Remember, he saved mankind. Well, he didn't save mankind from any specific threat, but he saved mankind in the form of he gave us fire. So I think there is that element of, there is definitely that element of the you know, fiery action, but it's slower than you think, and you will learn a lot through it. And yes, you should chase after your own dream, chase after your own feelings, because the promises that you are being told, it's almost like you are being told to react to the fears that you have while just going, no, everything's fine, everything's okay. And now I'm repeating myself, Capricorn. So if this means anything to you, comment down below. I try and respond to the comments as quickly as I can. Your next readings that will be out will be your... No, these are the full moon readings. Will be your Chinese zodiac readings. Sorry, I forget every time. Every the end of all of these readings is me going, what are they? But yeah, Chinese zodiac will be out by the end of the week. Good luck. But with this battle, slower is better. You've got more chance of winning that way. All right. Cheers.